Welcome back to Glasp Talk, and today we are excited to have Mike D, a globally recognized expert in personal productivity. And Mike has more than 1 million subscribers on YouTube and shares innovative approaches to hacking productivity, mastering the art of overcoming procrastination, and employing speed learning strategies. So whether you are looking to revamp your daily routine or transform your entire approach to work and learning, Mike's insight are valuable. So let's dive into the mind of the man who shares, who teaches us how to do more and smarter and with greater joy. So Mike, welcome to Graph Talk.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you. So yeah, first of all, some of our audience might not know you yet. So even if you have 1 million users, subscribers. But yeah, so to those who don't know you yet, could you briefly introduce yourself, please, and what you do, like
Yep.
background.
So in a nutshell, I do two things. I run two businesses. The first business is a personal development, productivity, training business, and that's where the YouTube channel is with 1 million subscribers. That's our kind of main marketing funnel, and we basically help people live a healthier, happier, wealthier life. That's the first business. The second business is I'm the CEO of PlayStack, and we basically grow YouTube channels for businesses. So I co-founded that about 2 years ago, and that's been growing quite nicely this year. So those are the two primary things that I focus on.
Love it. Yeah, thank you. And also, you started Project Elon, right?
Project Elon. So I started this company in 2016. So that was when I started the YouTube channel. And so when I created the YouTube channel, I was like, okay, what name can I put? Like what name? Because I didn't think it would turn into a business. At the time, it was just a YouTube channel. I was just testing out. So I was like, okay, this is a project, just like a mini project. I had Elon Musk's biography on my desk. So I was like, okay, project zero. No, that was taken. Project Elon, that wasn't taken. So I could get like projectelon.com, or I could get Project Elon on Facebook. Everything was available. So I was like, okay, let's go with that. And so I kind of stuck with that name up until 2021, when I changed that name from Project Elon to my own personal name, Mike D. And so now it's much more of a personal brand as opposed to, because there's a few things. Because firstly, I didn't at the time, Elon Musk, he wasn't as famous as he is now. Back then, he was in 2016, he was worth about $8 billion, which is still a lot of money, but not quite as wealthy as he is now. And so, he became more and more famous. And so, yeah, I changed it into my own personal brand.
Oh, cool. Yep.
Oh,
And I'm go ahead. Okay,
also,
go ahead. Yeah.
yeah, what did you make, thinking like, oh, I started with YouTube channel at first.
So it was totally like by chance. So this was in 2016, and I had just started studying at university. And so I was like, okay, this is kind of a good opportunity. I'm going to try some projects. I didn't think of them as business projects. I was just like, okay, I'm going to try video editing. Right. But then it's like, okay, what can I edit? And then I found some YouTube channels in the motivational space, and they grew very quickly. They grew from like zero to one of the channels. He grew from 0 to 60,000 subscribers in like 3 or 4 months. And so for me, I was like, okay, that's proof of concept that there's huge demand in that area. So I was like, okay, my goal is to make the same videos as him, but way better in every single area. So make the thumbnail better, the title better, the editing, the SEO, the descriptions, every single thing. And so that's what I did. And it didn't take too long because it was very kind of calculated and strategic effort, in that I wasn't just kind of posting random YouTube videos, but I knew there was demand there. And so it took maybe like 3 months before my first video popped off. And then within 4 5 months, I got 1 million views on my first video. And then in 6 months, I was earning a full-time salary. So it all happened relatively quickly. But that's when there was when I first started it, it was just like, okay, I'm going to try video editing for the first time. Like it was literally just a project. And so I was quite fortunate in that way.
smart. So you learn something, so you are you have motivation and so know the rule, and so you do it, by yourself better. So than others.
Exactly, yeah. And but
Yeah.
also I should mention that when I
Mm.
was at high school and for most of my life, I was very lazy. I was very unmotivated. I procrastinated a lot. My grades were average at best, probably slightly below average. And so it's kind of strange. It's like, okay, why did you start a motivational YouTube channel when you're not productive? But what happened was in 2013, 2014, 2015, I went traveling to Southeast Asia. I went backpacking and I met some incredibly, incredibly successful people, from business owners driving Lamborghinis to scientists to pilots to musicians to actors, like so many different types of people. And they really helped me realize that I was living a life with my own self-limiting beliefs put on myself when I didn't even realize it. Because where I'm from a small village in the UK with 2,000 people living there. And most people, they have like office jobs, 9 to 5s, maybe they have blue collar jobs. And I didn't know anyone growing up that was hugely financially successful. Everyone was just kind of living like their average life. It wasn't until I kind of moved to the city that I realized, hold on a second, if I really work hard, then I can live quite an interesting life and impact a lot of people and be happy. And so that's one of the main reasons why I started the YouTube channel, because I went through this transition myself of being kind of very lazy and unmotivated to being very productive and motivated and driven. And so the channel was about helping inspire other people that were where I was a few years ago to become more motivated and more driven. And so yeah, the channel kind of um, reflected my own journey as well.
Oh, wow. And then you mentioned, you published launched the video and you got millions of views. But did your channel grow like linearly or exponentially, or or straight up to the right, or did you like
So at the beginning in
Mhm.
2016, it was exponential. So it started off like I was getting, for maybe a month, I was getting like 10 views, 5 views, 10 views. Um, and then after the first month, and this is a long time, this is 8 years ago, so I'm really trying to think back. But then it started to grow slowly to like a few hundred views per video. But then one video took off, like the algorithm just took it, and then that's the video that got to 1 million views, and that's when the channel grew exponentially. And then after a couple of weeks of growing exponentially, then it kind of flatlined, meaning I was getting flatlined in terms of growth, meaning I was getting probably 20,000 views per day, um, every day. And then it stayed at that level, about 20,000 views a day, every day for like a few years. But the beginning of the growth was exponential.
I see. So do you know, or did you know, looking back now, do you know why was that so? And have you tried like anything like did you try something?
Yep. So there's a few reasons why that happened. So firstly, in that particular niche, it was relatively. I hit a gap in the market where the demand was high, so a lot of
Uh,
people were searching those types of videos, but the supply was low. And so that's why I was seeing other YouTube channels in that niche, in the motivational niche, growing very quickly, very fast. So like I said at the beginning, it was quite a strategic decision. Another reason is that I optimized for SEO. So I used products like vidIQ and TubeBuddy, because back then in 2016, SEO was an important part of YouTube. It's less so now because a lot of people were kind of abusing the system and just writing lists of keywords in the descriptions that were unrelated to the actual video itself to try and increase the CPM. So now what YouTube do is they caption the words that are coming out of your mouth, and then using the words that are coming out of your mouth, they will then rank your videos, and it's a lot more accurate. So I was using TubeBuddy and vidIQ, which are still available today. And basically, what another thing that I would do, and this is what worked for that video, is I would look at competitors and rank their videos from most popular. So if they have like 500 videos, what is the one most viewed video, or the two or three most viewed videos? And then the idea there is, you know that there's huge demand, you know that a lot of people are searching for that topic, then you would just reverse engineer it. Okay, why is that particular video their most viewed video? Why has that video got millions of views? And you reverse engineer it. Okay, because of the thumbnail, because of the title, because of the description, because of the SEO, because of the intros, because of the chapters. And then you essentially just do the same thing, but in your own perspective, add your own kind of personality to it and improve every area.
I see. And it did, is that how you get the idea? Because I saw you published more than 500 videos so far on your YouTube channel, and I mean maybe early days that's the way you get ideas, or I'm curious, now and then, how do you usually come up with the ideas to record?
Yeah, so I mean that still works today, and it's one of the best ways. There's many different ways. So one way is to like I'm really big on networking and meeting people where I want to be in 3 years' time, in 5 years' time. And like you said, I've made more than 500 personal development productivity videos on my channel. And the two things that really stand out above everything else when it comes to personal development, the first thing is self-education. So, listening to podcasts, watching documentaries, joining masterminds, going to meetups, going to conferences, those kind of things. And the second thing is networking. So meeting people where you want to be in 3 5 years time, and also of course helping other people as well. So I think it was Ty Lopez who said who coined the term the 33% rule, where 33% of your network should be above you, that are kind of inspiring you and helping you, 33% of your network the same level as you, and then 33% of your network quote unquote below you, where you can help pull them up. And so, a lot of video ideas comes from when you talk to, or when I talk to someone that's quite interesting and that's quite inspirational, and then something that they'll say will kind of stick in my mind, like an idea, a big kind of golden nugget or concept, and then I'll make a video on that specific concept. And the same can be for listening to podcasts. So like for example, a Joe Rogan podcast that's 3 hours long. You might just take away like 5 or 6 or 7 golden nuggets from a big 3 hour podcast, but then you can make videos on those ideas and just kind of expand them and add examples, add anecdotes, personal stories, that kind of thing, to create a YouTube video.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I didn't know that like 37%, network of like 33% or something like that. That's interesting. And seems like you're learning a lot of things so through meeting people or like listening to podcasts. So you can come up with ideas, but where do you keep ideas to like, if you learn something or if you want to record something, so where do you keep ideas?
So I've got what I call the knowledge bank. And so it's
Knowledge
basically a
bank, yes.
Notion, it's basically a Notion template. And when something comes up, and I do this almost on a daily basis, at least 4 or 5 times a week, is when I'm listening to a podcast, because I listen to podcasts pretty much every day, and something really interesting resonates with me. The first thing I'll do is write a really quick note on my phone on Todoist, and I'll write it down, the timestamp the timestamp of when they said the thing on the podcast. And then later on that day, usually in the morning, I will copy that down, exactly what they wrote in my own words, in the knowledge bank on Notion. And then what the knowledge bank does, it categorizes it. So I've got like a category for psychology, for business, for the economy, crypto, like all different categories. But what the knowledge bank does is you input the golden nugget into the knowledge bank, but then in 20 days, it will remind me again of that golden nugget. Then in another 20 days, and I can set this to 10 days, I can set this to 30 days, to 60 days. But the idea is, because our memories are our memory is very inefficient, right? It's designed to lose information because we can't remember every single thing that we that we need to remember because biologically it's just not possible. So then we have to use systems like the knowledge bank where you can kind of take advantage of active recall, you can take advantage of spaced repetition. So suddenly something that you just heard in a podcast, if you didn't write it down, you would probably forget about it in 24 hours, 48 hours, 72 hours. But when you add it to the knowledge bank and you're reminded about it every 20 days, every 30 days, then it goes from your short-term memory and kind of cements into your long-term memory. And I feel that's just a more efficient way of learning.
Yeah, that's a spaced repetition, right? So yeah,
Exactly.
I can tell you are learning like scientific. So yeah, proof.
Exactly.
But
Because
yeah,
I think and this is like if I had one superpower, a lot of people would be like, okay, I want to fly or I want to be able to turn invisible. But if I had one superpower, it would be to be able to remember every single thing that you consume. Because then it's like you would be so intelligent. Like you could create any business and it become a, an 8, 9, 10-figure business straight away because of the knowledge that you consume. Because, the amount of information, the amount of really important information that we just forget about because our brains are not super efficient, is kind of sad a little bit. So that's where the kind of knowledge bank comes in.
Interesting. Yeah, I can feel empathy with it. I mean, like if I can remember everything I learned, so that's like super power. But maybe so you can imagine that so with AI, so artificial intelligence, so you can get the power. So how do you think like AI changes our like human learning? So people learn something new, right? And so AI can help and assist it. So do you have any opinions or thoughts on like how AI changes our learning?
So AI is obviously changing every single industry, and it really it interests me not where AI is going in 1 year time, in 2 years time, but I'm really curious where AI is going in 100 years time, in 500 years time, in 1,000 years time. And then it gets a little bit scary, but for now, AI is really changing how we're learning. Like ChatGPT. So when I'm writing scripts for my YouTube channel, even just when ChatGPT came out about a year and a half ago, or a year ago, ChatGPT couldn't write that good YouTube scripts. Like they were okay, but they weren't amazing. 1 year later, you add the right prompts, you input the right prompts, and they make incredible scripts. And it's kind of scary from a creator's perspective that the barrier to entry for becoming a creator is really getting lower and lower and lower, almost to the point where we're getting where I don't even like maybe in 2 years' time or in 3 years' time, I wouldn't even need to talk in front of a camera here because I would have an AI avatar that looks exactly like me that you wouldn't even know that it's an avatar, and he would be talking on behalf of me. And then it's like, okay, you can then make unlimited content. And then what's the barrier to entry? Like, what if everyone is making unlimited content? What is like, how do you differentiate yourself as a creator? Which is, I think is quite an interesting question. In terms of learning, I mean, ChatGPT, I'm in the process of writing a book, and I haven't asked ChatGPT to write the book for me, but it's so good for ideation and just coming up for ideas when I get writer's block, or even just changing sentences, right? So when I'm writing a script, and I'll usually I write the script relatively quickly. I won't try and make it perfect. But then I will ask ChatGPT can you improve this sentence? Can you improve this paragraph? And it will make it way better in way faster time. So yeah, like I say, AI is changing every single industry, and learning is the same. But I am excited. I'm definitely more on the optimistic side when it comes to AI, at least in the short and medium term. In the long term, who knows?
Yeah.
So
And then we are talking to real Mike D, right? Now we are talking to real
We
like,
are,
oh,
we are.
okay. Just in case,
Maybe in 2 years' time we can do another interview, and then it won't be me.
Maybe we will also AI.
Yeah.
Interesting. So yeah, but so we are making something like digital clone. So with our highlights data, because we can gather people's like learning. So through highlights, so we can gather like people's learning, also capturing people's voice and face, and we can turn into like a digital clone. So and this is kind of visionary. So and we don't have any clue yet. So maybe we can make like this kind of digital clone and AI persona, but so how people use it. So it's interesting and imaginative, right?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, and I mean, this is kind of changing topics, but so as a human being, so even if like AI, so is evolving, so we need to learn something. So as a human, so and so, do you have any like advices or like tips for human to like learn with AI in the
I
future?
think I think with AI, I think it's really important to have an AI first mindset, meaning usually when we have a question, we open up Chrome or we open up Safari or we open up YouTube and we type it in there. I've over the last about a month ago, um, I changed the so you can see my phone here. This button here used to be Chrome.
ChatGPT. Oh
It's
yeah,
now
it replaced.
ChatGPT. So yeah, and it's
Wow.
the most prominent. It's like the first app on my home screen to encourage me to not be asking Chrome or Safari or YouTube questions, but to be asking ChatGPT questions, because I think that I don't necessarily think it's always AI that's going to replace us. I think it's people that are using AI that are going to replace us. And so, I think one of the best things we can do is literally just implement ChatGPT into our everyday lives. And the more we and stay on top of that learning curve so we don't get left behind, because as you guys know, AI is changing and it's developing and it's advancing so quickly. And it's our job to stay on top of it, because it's similarly to with the Industrial Revolution in the late 1800s, and when computers started replacing coming into offices, a lot of people were left behind because they didn't stay on top of the learning curve, or they weren't maybe interested, or they were a little bit pessimistic. And I know this is quite a big thing in the creator economy, because obviously there's a lot of creatives. And so AI is often seen as an enemy because it takes away the creativity. But at the same time, I think it's really important to just embrace it, because AI is not going away. It's not like NFTs, for example, where NFTs were very big for a couple of years or a year and then they kind of disappeared. But AI is like really here to stay. And so yeah, I think it's really important to stay on top of the learning curve.
Yeah, that makes totally sense. Yeah, and it seems like we are doing like from changing from searching to asking, right, and asking everything to AI, and so that they can answer
Exactly.
anything. And yeah, time is running, but like before that, because Grasp is a platform where people can collect quotes and favorite quotes, ideas. And I'd love to ask you, what's your favorite quotes or ideas, or let's say, what's the motto or slogan for your personal life? Every time something happens, you keep telling yourself, this one word or ideas. Do you have something like that?
So there's two things. So firstly, I really like the idea of having four buckets. You have health, you have wealth, you have people, and you have happiness, right? And I like the idea because it's so easy for us, particularly like we're running businesses, we're very busy, and it's very easy to forget, to be so consumed with our work, that it's easy to forget other parts of our lives. And I really think just making sure that you spend some time every day on each of those four buckets to keep your life balanced, because I think that's really important, to live a happy life. Because not to get too deep, but the meaning of life, I think the meaning of life is actually a lot simpler, or maybe I'm just thinking about it too simplistically. But for me, the meaning of life is enjoying the passage of time. Like, very, very simple. The meaning of life to me is enjoying the passage of time. And so a way that I do that is making sure that all of my buckets, health, wealth, people, and happiness, every single day, are at least topped up. And that's the first thing. And the second thing is one of my favorite quotes is, and I've talked a little bit about networking already. But one of my favorite quotes is, "You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with," and I really like that because it makes sure that the people that you have around you, they have the same values as you, right? Integrity, values like that. But also, for me, it's about the people around me help inspire me, and not even just about business. So people that are really involved with charity work, they really inspire me, as well as very big business people, as well as people that are very good at the one thing that they do. And so, yeah, those two kind of things. So you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, and making sure that those 4 components, health, wealth, people, and happiness, are all kind of topped up every day, if possible.
Yeah, that's really inspiring. And just in case, could you repeat the 4 pocket? Wealth, health, people,
Health, wealth, people, happiness. So health,
happiness.
obviously, your health, exercising mentally and physically. Wealth, so working, making sure, because if you're financially secure, if you're financially stable, then it means you can financially help your community, you can financially support your family. People, so the people that you love, and also friends as well, and business acquaintances. And finally, happiness. In my opinion, happiness is the meaning of life.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much for a great talk and share, your insights and an experience so far. And yeah, I think it's time to go. Thank you for joining today.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
having me. I appreciate it.